Hello everybody, I'm Phantom2502 and welcome to an episode of Dyson Sphere Program. If in case you've been wondering what I've been doing for a while since I released the build automation, compact automation mall, this is what I've been working on. This is my research planet. This baby that you're looking at right here turns raw ores like silicon ore, titanium ore, etc. all into 10,125 white research cubes per minute. That is just insane for one planet. I've been searching YouTube, and the best I could see was around 1,800 or 30 a second, I think, by Millhouse. So if this craziness of a planet interests you, I'll just keep watching, because this thing is just nuts. I mean, just look at all the ships like swarming. It's almost like a planetary shield. White cubes are around the equator almost. And by the way, if you thought the other pole had all of the rate receivers, no, it's only half of them. It's half on the other side. Just absolutely insane. The fact that my PC has not crashed, and I'm running this on a laptop that's like from 2016 Predator gaming laptop. It's not even new, like high-end like gaming PC, and the fact that this even runs and I haven't really had any crashes. I mean, of course the FPS sucks, but what do you expect? The build's insane. Alright, so just some stats on this planet. This planet alone is consuming 117,500 silicon per minute, 84,788 stalagmite per minute, 63,174 unipolar magnets per minute, and that is constraining because in the entire seed there's only 30 nodes on two planets, the neutron star and a black hole planet. Basically I have that node almost maxed out, and I put like the advanced miners and then the first miners that you get around it going back in, so try to maximize the node as much as I could. So the main node has like 30 coverage, and then each 15 has like 60 coverage of like the minor nodes underneath. Anyway, so I don't know what I'm going to do if that runs out, but I at the moment I seem to be expanding research fast enough in mining so that I can keep doing these planets without running out. I'm kind of keeping up. It has 43,895 deuterium per minute coming into this. I'm just getting deuterium from gas giants to try to maximize what I can do here. I'm not doing any hydrogen to deuterium conversion on planet because that wastes space. And yeah, let's just look at the statistics for this planet, shall we? I'm just going to scroll through this generally quickly. I mean, the planet itself doesn't, generate too much, but just look at the consumption of some of these things. And by the way, the stats I gave is if everything was running 100% perfect. I just finished this build. The 10,125 is the theoretical maximum. There may be some bugs here and there that I haven't seen in my design that I haven't fixed yet. And it takes a little while for everything to run to see where that constraint sometimes is. So I'll just go through this a little slowly, and you can look at all the insane numbers. Of everything that's being produced on this one single world. Just absolutely insane. Antimatter fuel rods for power 300 consumption a minute. Base warpers, 169.70 per minute consumption. Look at those proliferators. Everything's being, oh yeah, everything on this planet is proliferated at Proliferator Mark III. Almost 19,000 a minute to get that done. And then there's the research right there. Right now, Universe Matrix says 9,400. Let's see, is the 1 minute any higher? The 1 minute's slightly higher. 9,482, but the maximum is 10,125 with the current build. As you can see, the consumption's just under 8,000 for the other research cubes. The max there for the build's 8,100. Then obviously the white cubes are on extra products. Alright. Alright, let's look at how I built this planet. Alright. So I built this planet in quadrants or quarters. The first thing that I looked at for building is what was the main constraint. And the main constraint was around the silicon ingots. So basically I wanted to tie each planetary logistics station takes care of one build. So this one does silicon ingots only. And the constraint we have is the 12 input outputs we can do to that. So with this one's maxed out, so it's 28,880, I think? No. 7,200, 14,400. Yeah, 28,800 per minute for silicon ore. So you can see I have 4 lines of it, so that's the max. And that produced 14,400 silicon ingots, which took the other 8 lines at 1,800 a piece, and the output lines at 7,200 a piece. So I made my build based on that maximum constraint. Everything else fit within that max constraint. Now you could say, yeah, I could add stacking to a whole bunch over here, but that would take more planetary space, and I didn't think that would be worthwhile. So basically, the entire build is basically all the same. Each thing does one item at a time. There's items coming out of both sides. Each side has a line of Mark III proliferator going across it from up to down, and that splits off from where the proliferator is being done right here. So after it's done, this proliferator actually gets spritzed on the way out before going into here, and it will go down the lines, and then also there's some planetary logistics stations that it goes to after that. Alright. Everything else worked within those constraints. Now I did this build to minimize space in the build. So some things are set to double production, especially items that don't have previous steps. Production speed up does double, so it's twice the amount done in the same space constraint. Yet late item games, probably not like plane filter. Let's see, what else would be late? Like research, or nope, not that one. Of course, when I'm looking for it, I can't find an example. Well, those are always titanium crystal. What about these things? There aren't many that aren't production speed up. Anyway, research isn't. I know that. Anyways, there are some of them that are extra products. Basically, things that have a lot of items that have tons of previous steps, it's still better to do extra products rather than production speed up, because you might get the production speed up of the one item, but all the previous steps now have more buildings, and those buildings in some cases will take more space than what you're saving with the extra with the production speed up. So I did calculations trying to take the least amount of space to produce the most amount of items in this build. And the reason I'm looking at that constraint for my overall build is that's the constraint in this game. You're limited by planetary space. It's finite. It runs out. Mining ore, that's unlimited like a game. You have infinite research on it. So that's not a constraint. I thought there was going to be a constraint on oil because I thought it'd be 1800 per minute for a oil extractor, but I found out as I started improving my mining that actually they stack automatically after 1800 on a level 3 belt with full stacking, so it goes up to 7200 a minute, so that's not even a restriction. Even I thought it was going to be a restriction 1800, and I actually thought it was going to be limited by oil a little bit, and so I made my oil and my plastic extra products when they really should have been production speed up, but it is what it is. That doesn't take too much extra space. It was a little bit of extra. So, but anyways, let's see. The other restriction that I've noticed with this far in game is planetary logistics stations and interstellar logistics stations seem to cap out, at least with my research at the moment, around 40,000. Each one can about handle around 40,000 per minute of one item at a time. If you go beyond that, if you're, like I'm bringing in like 100-some thousand coal, and so I have to have multiple stations on both my planets to just deal with the throughput. Otherwise, that ends up being your bottleneck. So if you're over 40,000 and you're seeing that things aren't getting to where they're supposed to be going, that's what you got to add another station to do that. Let's see. All right, let's look at how much power does this thing take. Like, I know most people like think, oh, my planet takes like 10 gigawatts of power, 15 gigawatts of power. Well, this baby right here consumes 36.3 gigawatts of power, and I'm generating 38.8. And that's just the power demand. You have to remember that all of these ray receivers are doing photon generation, which sucks 480 megawatts directly from the Dyson Sphere. Now I have 422 of these things, so in reality, this planet is actually taking 202.56 gigawatts right off the Dyson Sphere. That's how much this planet is consuming, over 200 gigawatts, because a lot of the antimatter that is produced from the critical photons goes directly to white research. So that's why you don't see it in the power statistics on planet. So yeah, let's look at that Dyson Sphere while we have it. So here's my Dyson Sphere. As we can see, it's generating 448 gigawatts. 415 is coming from the Dyson Shell power generator. And as we can see, my total requested power is 284 gigawatts for everything. And this one planet is using over 200 of that. It's absolutely nuts. Right now for Dyson Shells, I'm up to layer 4 just completed, like just before this video. And I'm going into layer 3 right now. Layer 4 through 10 is done. I kind of did it backwards. I'll just cycle through it. As you see, radius 14,000, 15,200. I tried to do the biggest radiuses I possibly could. And yeah, right now we're doing 3, and 2 and 1 haven't been done yet. And that's the furthest radius I can do it, and as close to the outside as I do, so I can maximize my Dyson Sphere. As for getting FPS, like when I started my second shell, my FPS dropped from like 15 to like 5. And the Dyson Sphere draw calculation takes a ton, absolutely a ton of your FPS. So in the late game, what you need to do to even build after that is to use this display thing on the left side here, selected layers, in editor and in game, and all layers, just completely do not show that. That jumped my FPS from 5 to like 50 at that point in the game. Of course, I built a lot more since I did my mall. So now it's back down to, I think, 35, 40 in space, and on planet I'm getting like around 20, 15, 20. But at least you know, what would it be if you're doing the draw calculation? It'd be not in frames per second, it'd be seconds per frame at that point. So you're looking at nutsness there. Let's see. Alright, so basically I built this in quadrants. So the silicon constraint ended up building like one of these lines. So I just did every single material, put them in a line, and then some of the materials were left extras, which went a little bit on this left side. I had a little bit of room. And then I had a little bit of room on this side. And I found that one of these quadrants generates 2,484.375 white cubes per minute. And since it took about a quarter of the plan, I'm like, okay, well, I could just create a blueprint. And yes, I do have a blueprint that does a quarter planet. Where is the main quadrant? Okay, will it even... Okay, well, game's a little sluggish. What do you expect? Oh, 70 FPS, great. So this is the blueprint to a quarter planet. And yeah, you can lay it, and it does work. And it doesn't crash the game when you lay it. It takes probably about an hour to fill everything in, but yeah, there's a blueprint of that. So I took that blueprint and just plugged it in for the next 3 sections, or well, for 3 sections out of 4. The problem I got with the last and final section is this middle part. So it wasn't exactly a quarter, it was a little bit over in the middle. So what I did for the 4th part is as you saw, I have blueprints, and I have one for each row as well. So here I had to change the row spaces in the middle so they could fit. And then I did a blueprint of the top part of the quadrant and the bottom part of the quadrant, and then placed it on the both sides. But you know, getting 4 quadrants ended up being 9,935.7 per minute. You know, that doesn't sound as good as 10,000. So I was like, okay, well, you know, I'm so close to 10,000, I might as well, you know, try to get there so I can have that nice 10K figure. You know, kind of has a sounding power to it. So I ended up adding in a few things to each layer to get up to 10,125. 10,125, the reason I did that is because it's an even number of buildings for research buildings. There's no remainders at that number. But as you see, I had to, some of the builds didn't fit into the original quadrants, as adding like 1 or 2 buildings here, so I had to add a little bit of extra here. And then these over here, there's 5 interstellars on each quadrant, and this is all the inputs. So this is the inputs working. And they have space warpers going into them. Well, everything except for the last one. So that's just doing local system stuff. Also, I have hydrogen here, so it forces to take from my local gas giant. Doesn't go across my system to gather something that you can locally. Alright, let's see. Alright, so let's see. That's good for my my research planet. Here's a view of my home system. And you can see the number of ships in this view and the Dyson Sphere. Just to see how the Dyson Sphere looks, and a little bit of an update on my homeworld. Let's take an indicator and fly there. That way we can take the visuals of this planet, of my system from afar. You know what? Maybe we can look back at the planet as we go further and further away. By research planet, which Yeah, that's how it looks from here. Oh, it's gone. Alright. So, basically, I've been joking around because of the FPS drawback. And the FPS, you gain more when you're in space here compared to being on planet. So I joke that the FPS is caused by time dilation. I have so much stuff on my planets that it causes time dilation. That's why I get a reduction in FPS. It's kind of a joke, but it does scale up with the amount of stuff you have on it. Man, I'm only getting 24 FPS. Normally I get closer to 40, but that might be because I'm recording this video while I'm doing that, so I'm actually getting less FPS than I normally get when I don't have other things running. But there's my Dyson Sphere. Well, you can't see it obviously, but I have my shell. By the way, for my shell, I always do all 3 dimensions around, so that when you're starting the game, if you can see any part of your shell, you get all the power from everything, like for your ray receivers before you get graviton lenses, and that maximizes the amount of time they're up versus down by having it with the 3 layers around. I have the 1 layer inside, but that was just the original one. So, and then look at this home planet. Look at the amount of solar sails coming out and the amount of small carrier rockets. The amount of solar sails, this planet is, my homeworld, is now built up to do 12,923 solar sails per minute, and 320 small carrier rockets per minute are made on the homeworld, with 600 from my Forge world coming in to be launched. So 920 small carrier rockets per minute are being launched for this planet. I still can't believe this thing hasn't crashed. I mean, it just goes to testament to like the devs in this game. So this is my home planet where I showed you the mall the first time. At least, yeah, I bounce off the planet like crazy. Especially with the FPS, you get some pretty high bounce offs. But it'll give us a good view of the home world. Yeah, I don't have really much space left on this thing. There's almost no space remaining on my home planet now. Alright, let's take a view of this thing. So this is the home world since I built my mall, and there's the mall right there. Here's all of the buildings in the game, and if you want to see more detail, you can check my other Dyson Sphere video. Yeah, this builds everything in the game in this small space. The research being made on this planet is 2,625 white cubes per minute, and all white cubes are brought to this planet and researching. Not in that row, that's a white cube row. Over here is all the research. So in total, I'm researching 12,725 white cubes per minute, theoretical maximum for the build. And this is what this home planet looks like, doing all of that. Look at those suns. And then this side. And oh yeah, the solar sails. Obviously, you know, tons of planet for that. Yeah, almost half the planet's just solar sails. Space remaining on the planets for research expansion, just to do research when other worlds I want to send research here. There's a little bit of space here near this pole, and there's this strip of space here. That is the only real space left on this entire planet. Like, there isn't really anything available on this thing. Like, let's just go around the equator. Just absolutely insane homeworld. Alright. And in case you're wondering How much power is this planet consuming? 25.4 gigawatts with 27.6 generation capacity. Yeah, nuts. Now, let's just look at the galactic map just to see, or the, sorry, not galactic, the star cluster, I'm sorry. And that's what this looks like. All these other systems only have little outposts for ore mining and then just sending it to the main system. I don't actually have anything being built or produced on these other systems. They're just getting stuff and bringing it home. So my game still only has one system so far. Look at even the in-system tri-planet traffic. So that's pretty cool. Alright, so we're just going to finish with a flyback to the research planet, and then we'll end the video. The other planet, purr 4 Psi 4, is my secondary planet and my forge world, which I think I'll show you guys in my next video, but I'm not done that forge world yet. I want to increase my solar sail capacity from 920 a minute to 1520 a minute, and that should leave about half planet left to put another half of research. So come on, let's get off the planet. What's nuts about flying back to this world is just look at all of the ships going in and out of this. I mean, it's just absolutely nuts that this world exists. Now, Dark Fog just released yesterday. I've been trying to get this build out. Oh, I could release the video right before Dark Fog, but I just wasn't done with the research plan. It took tons of time, a little more than I thought. And I have 257 hours in this game, and that's not real time. That's like FPS train time. So it's probably actually like double that. It's probably like over 500 hours to get this build of real time. But the Dark Fog is coming out, so that's insanely interesting combat. First, I kind of want to finish what I want to do with this build. I want to kind of finish this system and maybe get another system with a full planet research blueprint. But I don't. My original thing was the game was to try to do the whole entire star cluster. But looking at my FPS right now, realistically, I don't think I'm going to get much further than 2 to 3 systems until this entire game is basically unplayable anymore. Where I go basically, if I'm like, I can deal with like 15 FPS, but you know, 5 or 1 FPS would be just absolutely, you know, stupid. So I have a feeling getting the whole thing just won't work. So I'll probably do 2-3 systems, then probably finish my build, and then I'll probably start Dark Fog build. And I think I'm looking at maybe doing a Let's Play of Dark Fog. If you want to see me do a Let's Play of Dark Fog, it seems like I have a knack for having nice, clean, compact builds. And if that interests you, let me know in the comments. So anyway, so this is my research planet, and hope you guys like this thing. Let's just get close enough to see it and go around. Oh, kind of go in and out. Either way, that'll be it for this video. I am Phantom2502, and thank you for watching the research planet. See you guys next time on my next video. Peace out.